Hello everyone, this is Vanessa here. I have seen that this question was posted a few times on Facebook, so let me try to teach you how to solve this question using a model. Jessica had 4,500 red buttons and blue buttons. She lost 20% of the red buttons and 60% of the blue buttons. She then found out that 40% of her remaining buttons were red. So how many red buttons did she have left? Okay, so first thing first, know that all these percentages are in fact referring to different numbers or different bases, sorry. So here, let's take a look at this one. She lost 20% of the red. So this is actually 20% of the red. And the 60% of the blue. Okay, she then found out that 40%, and this is the 40% of the remaining. So all these are referring to different bases, and so the percentage cannot be added or subtracted. Okay, so using the model, I would say that will help you to understand this fundamental better. Okay, so starting off the total, she had a total of total of 4,500. So 4,500, let me draw the big rectangular block to represent that. Okay, so for this, at this stage, I wouldn't even know which one had more. So let's label this, doesn't matter. So I just label this as this portion here as red. Can you even color this since we are using a computer? So make use of that to just color this as green red. Okay, and then the other one as being blue. Okay, so in total, I know that they had a total of 4,500. Clear? So, oh my, so huge. Okay, what do I do now? Okay, so let me change back to the pen. So this part here is actually the 4,500. Okay, so clear so far? And what's next is that we are adding on the various percentages. So 20% of the rate. So I'm going to cut this, okay, this part here, and that is the 20% of the rate. Then the remaining must be 80% of the rate, right? Okay, so do the same for the blue. The blue was that 60%. 60% of the blue. So this must be the remaining 40%. Okay, not very proportionate, but it doesn't matter. So what is that, the remaining then? So the remaining must be represented by this part here. So from this point all the way to that point, right? That would now be known as the remaining. And then now you can see that the remaining is 100%. Okay, so because this is the base, this is always my 100%. This is the remaining. And as I align it, this portion here must be where the rate is, right? But now the question actually say that this, okay, let me use a different color. This part, the rate is actually 40% of the remaining. So the remaining, okay, the blue will actually mix up the remaining 60% of the remaining. Okay, so clear about this part here? Now that we have the relationship between the red and the blue, but that is only in the end. Why I say that? Because I know that for every 4 red buttons, there will be 6 red buttons, and so on and so forth. Okay, so they move in that proportion. So out of 10, if let's say 10 buttons, there will be 4 red and 6 blue. And how about representing the remaining in terms of a certain number of units? You could use the simplest form, or alternatively, I'm kind of lazy, I'll just call it as 100 units. I'll just say that, okay, if the remaining number of buttons is 100 units, then the rate can be represented by 40 units and a blue with 60 units. Then I will work backwards to find out what is the 100% of this rate and what will be the 100% of this blue. So that is actually very easy. Now you can see that we are actually trying to match those numbers. So 80% of the rate is actually 40 units. So you could write down as 80% of the rate. So you see that I would have to indicate what is this 80% is. It's actually based on the rate. If not, I cannot say that 80% equal 40 units. So by spelling out the base, you know that what you need to look out for. Then you can work out the 1% of the rate, which is half a unit, okay? And then you work out what is 100%. Yes, this may be a bit tedious, but get your steps correct so that you will not get into any careless mistake. Because a lot of times I see that student making far too many careless mistakes along the way. So do the same thing for the blue. And how do I do the blue? The blue, now that I know that this is actually 40% of the blue is 60 units. Then what is 100%? Okay, so you could do this of the blue, 60 divided by 40 times your 100. So in one step, you could also work out the number of units to represent the number of blue buttons at first. So at first, instead of saying that it's made of blue and red, I can say that there were 15 units plus 150 units of buttons. So you see that now we have converted everything into one single variable here, which is the units. So I can say that 200 units equals to my 4,500. So find out what is your 1 unit. Your 1 unit is 22.5. And what is the question asking for? How many red buttons did you have left? So the number of red buttons left is 40 units. So 40 units is 40 times 22.5. Your answer is 900. So using the model can actually guide you along and provide you with a better understanding of this fundamental. Let me know if this approach helps and give me a thumbs up, a like, so that I know that this video has benefited you. And with that, I hope to see you around. Have a great day and goodbye.